So now we could talk about some advanced features that are worth at least knowing that exist. So the first is the interview date. Let's say we make a change and we're going to make this for, make it February 15th. And we click save. The system says, no, you can't do that because this has to be, date can't be in the future. So we say, okay, that's fine, thank you. And so what do is cancel it. But anyway, so there's a feature there that allows us to take a look. And let me just show you how that's going to play out. If we're looking, this is something called validation rules. And what we're able to do is to say date not in the future. And we have the opportunity to say that if a date is greater than today, date can't be in the future. And so we can build that. We can clone it. We can assign it. So what we've done is we've assigned that to a field relationship here called interview, right? So let's do date and the interview date here. And we can see that down below I've added the validation rule. So that's kind of a neat little feature. Another helpful feature is field dependency. And so if we go in here and we say, okay, we're going to go in and look at this. Now let's just, I want to just do one right now. And I'm going to say, let's look at meaningful. And the subcategories there are very meaningful versus inspirational. So these are contingent on, dependent on the category. So if we click this, we're able to see each of them. And so we're able to look at what we're up to. And we can apply it or cancel it however we want it to. So let's just apply that and save it. The other interesting feature, let me just show you just really quickly how to do that. And that is looking at, and let me see where is the easy way to get there. Let's go back from here. Let's go from here, which is the edit the object. And the object in this case, we're going to look at the fields. We can look at field dependencies. And what we did was to create, let me just show you the sub. So we have a subcategory here that's a pick list. This is actually a change from the original import, but what you can see is I added these, and these are the inactive items. We pulled them in that way. And so if I go back and I instead look here at field and relationship and field dependencies, what I have is the option then of editing this one, which is the category dependent field. And what this allows you to do is to create a matrix. You can select, you could say, great, I want to include this one. So I could click here and say I want to include that value. That would actually add it to the meaningful list. And I would click save. And then now I'm able to go back here and refresh this. Scroll down, look at meaningful, and now I look at my dependencies. I now have a third one, so we can add and again, it's just like a regular pick list, but you're able to create dependencies on that. The other feature I thought that was interesting is being able to look at, this is called a path, and what happens is there are path settings. This is part of setup, which you get to from here to get to setup, and you type path, and let me just show you. So if you type path, it shows path settings that way as part of a user interface. But if I'm here, what that means is that if I go to this and I open it up and I click on early, what this does is to identify specific fields that I'd be showing. So here I am showing key fields around outcome sources. Now if I go out to outcome is final, for example, and let's just say I mark this as current. So I say, okay, we're done with that. What it does is it creates a cool little confetti thing and says, yeah, you finished a stage. So if I go out to outcome is final, and what I'm able to do is to look here at different fields. These are really the substantiation fields, but they're, the idea is that you can show different fields than you would that based on specifically which stage you're at. So again, kind of a nifty advanced feature, but neat to look at. Another feature that's, again, core Salesforce, but is really helpful, is if we go out here and we look at the fields and relationships, we have the option of setting history tracking. History tracking, you can read this, but basically if anything changes, what you're able to do is to track it. So if we're looking at date changes or we're looking at different information, we're able to click here, and then as part of the record, we're actually going to get a list of all of the field changes that have occurred. Great way to be able to track changes. Also, if we wanted to, we could be a little more strategic with our architecture. Because what we could do as we start to look at substantiation, we may have multiple substantiation records related to an outcome harvesting record. So we actually could create a master detail record for substantiation that would be related to outcome harvesting. And so we could have multiple portions of this information. So these actually could have been a separate object. And then we could have linked those two objects, and that would have given us a one-to-many relationship. So each outcome harvesting behavior change could have multiple substantiation events. And then we could also talk about how to work with mobile and tablet views here, and we can look at different devices to be able to understand how we would do that. So again, that would be looking at the mobile and tablet. But I hope this is a kind of a quick deep dive into what an outcome harvesting custom object could look like originally being pulled in from a CSV. Thanks, and wish you luck.